Niger Republic. Apparently, it's the one heading towards 2027 to see if they can wrestle power out of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, we'll see about that. Good afternoon, Abuja. Thank you very much for staying with 95.1 Nigeria Info, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the show. It's the Midweek special, and it makes it extra special because we've got Dr. Majeed Dahiru. He's a researcher, he's a columnist, the tech team lead of Luctera Leadership Foundation, and joins us as much as possible every weekend. Wednesday, I beg your pardon, every week, midweek, Wednesday, to review some of the big stories of the day and of the week. We don't just save only the one for that day, but we look at some of those burning important conversation and talk about them with him. And Dr. Majeed is comfortably seated. Dr. Majeed, good afternoon to you.
I feel like just sitting down here and listening to you have the conversation alone. Honestly, I need to also listen sometimes. What do you think?
Well, I know that the whole of Abuja who is listening right now and beyond would say, no, this is not the day. Maybe you might listen today, you're not on air, but not today, because there's just so much to talk about, and some of them you set the stage already. By the way, my name is Kimberly. You want to call me Kim, the Oracle, the digital Oracle, TF, fellow Chanyawa Madam Speaker. I'll say yes to them more. So let's get into the big three, looking at the midweek special with Majeed Dahiru. And talking about listening, Dr. Majeed, you were here yesterday. Maybe we should add Dr. Prophet to you, because you were saying, see, you could put a proposal for one term. Looking at what Peter Obi has put forward, you can put a proposal for one term. And I remember I asked you the question of how much can you deliver in one term, and you gave your argument as to this is one way that would give Peter Obi some bit of advantage if he considers that, because of the north-south rotational system that we operate at this point in time. And apparently he thought about it, or the words have come to his hearing, and he thought, I'm going to put this proposal forward. And the presidential candidate for the 2023 election on the platform of the Labour Party submitted his single tenure proposal to the opposition coalition for consideration. Dr. Unisa Tanko, the national coordinator of the Obedient Movement Worldwide, disclosed this Tuesday during the conferment of a chieftaincy title, Serikin Maskan, War Hero on Obi. Tanko believes the coalition would align with Obi's 4-year ambition, stressing that the former governor of Anambra State does not need more than 4 years to transform the country. And so Obi has said clearly that even though the single term is not in the constitution, that he's committing himself to serve only one term. I don't understand what's not in the constitution. You get 4 years, and then you get the chance to be re-elected after 4 years. So 4 years is in the constitution. And then you can go twice in 4 years. He believes 4 years is more than enough to accomplish his mission. That shows how prepared and focused he is. All right. Peter Obi also, during a live session on X, declared his readiness to contest 2027 presidential election and confirmed that he's willing to serve a single term. Now, it's not clear, even though he sent this one to the coalition, which is the new bride that we have right now. It's interesting that Labour Party, perhaps, is he putting forward the coalition, or is he sending us a message? Dr. Majeed, you read the room politically.
Oh, God.
but starting with the 4 years, you did say it last week actually, that 4 years is, I would take him for his word. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Good luck, Jonathan had a gentleman agreement for 4 years.
But that's one thing.
But somehow it went sideways.
We need to correct that misconception. Jonathan never committed to one term.
On the party level, he made news, he made headlines.
Never.
And then the party was putting this position forward to him, and he kind of like didn't come on.
He never accepted that.
He didn't?
He didn't. I was an active player when this issue was really, really born in 2011. He did not at all, at no time. He did not commit to one term. At no time.
Okay.
At no time. The thing is, the party some people within the party felt, okay, let's just allow him for one term and it will return to the north. It was like, okay, let's allow him. Since he's the sitting vice president, he's from the Niger Delta, a very special region within the country. And this has happened. It was not his doing. Nobody planned for Edward to die, 3 years into his tenure. So, okay, let's just allow that flow. And that's the reason why zoning is not in the constitution. That's why it's not there. Because there are some special circumstances that may warrant some level of the free flow of constitutional provision, which is as a vice president to step in. If zoning was rigid in the constitution, it means you may likely have two vice presidents, one from the north, one from the south. But the fact that you have a southerner deputizing the northerner whenever the president is in the north simply tells you that if anything happens to that president, a southerner can actually take the chance, as it happened with Yaradua.
Yeah.
And if a southerner wants to return and complete probably their what's supposed to be their 2 terms of 8 years, to some extent you can't fault him because he's sitting already. But even at that, some level of integrity and honor would have still dictated that once you completed the first 4 years and there's a zoning formula in place, you can decide not to even contest again. After all, the man who gave us this Fourth Republic was head of state, Minister of State, for less than a year, Absalom Bakar, and his name was written in good forever. OBJ spent less than 4 years between 1975 and 1979, about 3.5 years, as Minister of State. And the impact was such that it earned him almost an automatic second opportunity in 1999. So people have done so much with less time in power. But Jonathan did not commit to that. There is no document that it did not. It's very important to say this. The first presidential candidate, or aspirant rather, not even as a candidate, as an aspirant, that we commit to one term was Atiku Abubakar in 2019. He made a statement, if it was in an interview or somehow, let's say an interview or in an interaction with Dele Momodu. So Dele wrote the ultimate interaction on the back page of his column in This Day, where Atiku made a commitment to one term because of the similar circumstances we are faced with now. You have a northern president, Buhari, who has been president since 2015. You're going to an election with him. So does it mean that if you win, for instance, are you going to do 8 years? So he made a commitment to one term. However, he didn't follow through that commitment when he became candidate. I also remember that some of us and some other critical stakeholders said, look, it is important to make that commitment now as a candidate to one term because it will enhance your chances. Because look at it. Why would somebody want to exchange one southerner or one northerner for the other who might likely have an extended tenure and then automatically violate the zoning arrangement? So these are very serious issues. However, what Toby has done is the right thing to be done within the current circumstance. I'm a firm believer in zoning. I've been on this matter since 2007. When Jonathan decided to run in 2011, believe it or not, I was one of those that was opposed to it. When he ran in 2015, I was opposed to it as well for the same reason. And that's why those who were opposed to it, those who led the revolt against the PDP, both in 2011 and in 2015, because of this same zoning matter, who are now violating zoning. And I'm wondering, what the hell is happening? I mean, this was something that was so painful to you that you revolted against your party. You left the party. Go and look at Atiku Abakar's speech in 2011 on the convention ground. Man, it was loaded. He bombarded Jonathan. To the point that Jonathan was disorganized while he was sitting down. OBJ had to get up to go and placate him to say, don't let it get to you. You could feel the anger. Atiku then actually made a statement that, look, if you make democratic change, peaceful democratic change impossible, you make violent change inevitable. Atiku made this statement. In relation to Jonathan's insistence of using power of incumbency to retain power in 2011 or not even 2015. Lawal Keita then said, we'll make Nigeria ungovernable for him if he forces himself back. This were statements coming from those who felt Jonathan was violating zoning in 2011. 2011. And that was when the Boko Haram whatever started. A lot of people thought that Boko Haram was a reaction now
to that move, yeah.
The then NSA, General Azazi, actually made that allusion to the fact that what you see happening is loss of power and reaction to it. He made that statement. It was that serious. So by 2015, Jonathan himself said that, hey, this region is ready to go to war for presidency. So once they announced the numbers that Buhari was leading,
he made the call.
He made the call. Don't also forget that when Buhari was announced to have lost the election, what happened in Kaduna and some northern states? It was bloody. One of the bloodiest.
That was in 2011.
In 2011.
Yeah. Where core members were killed in Bauchi.
It's still over this issue. Where were those core members from? If you remember. It was still after or around this issue of power, zoning between north and south. It is that sensitive. So if a P2B is still in the race from the south, having seen that a southerner has been present since 2023, it's only sensible, honorable, and just the right thing to do to make this commitment ahead. I would also expect him that if he's given this opportunity, he should restate that commitment everywhere he goes to campaign as candidate. So that we leave nobody in doubt. Like the issue of Jonathan, for instance, you can see that nobody can produce any statement anywhere, either in video, either audio, either written, where Jonathan made such a commitment. Obi has made it now. Let him, if he's given opportunity, all he needs to do is to reiterate it. And that will be patriotic of him, because he said something, and I think I like that. He said, I'm committed to this North-South rotation for the purpose of national unity. We are not where we are supposed to be, but until we get there, we can't change the rules in the middle. But while Obi is making this commitment as a Southerner to say, if I'm given the opportunity, I'll do one term. There are Northerners already in the race trying to take power back to the North after just 4 years in the South. The same people that destroy PDP with their ambition, they are still there. They're not even talking about one term.
Because the truth is, nothing prohibits them. Nothing in our law prohibits them.
Nothing prohibits you from snatching this water that I'm holding and start drinking it. But integrity means that even when you have the opportunity to undermine people, to take advantage of a system, integrity, what makes you a human being and not just an animal, is that you have this sense of propriety to say, okay, I can do this. I can bully, I can do all of this, but I won't do it because I desire for you what I desire for myself.
But can we get to a future where it mustn't be after 8 years before the pendulum shifts?
No, I want to
4 years is one term. You have done it. And we can easily move to someone else and some other region without it being
a Southerner. That is the point.
So that means we're saying that every 8 years it can rotate, not instead of 4 years. We're saying the Constitution provides
8 years is a convention. There's nothing. It's not even the Constitution.
I
but
agree.
This is pursuant to Section 14 of the Constitution, which says the composition of the government of Nigeria and all of its organs should not be dominated by any ethnic group, region, and all that and all that. So the politicians have found a way to say, look, okay, the number one position is the presidency. Therefore, let us have a north-south rotation principle. If also comes to the north, somehow if you can microzone within yourselves too, within your own
Dr. Majeed, I guess it. But I'm saying, must it be 8 years of 2 terms before we do allow it to rotate? Because you could do presidential term is 4 years, and then you can get re-elected as provided in the Constitution.
But since 1999, we're practicing north-south on 8-year basis. OPJ had this.
How far has it taken us?
No. It has at least sustained our national unity.
Okay.
Like when Jonathan violated in 211 and 215, you saw the war. You saw the reaction from the north. So why would some northerners rather, who were very angry with Jonathan for doing that in 211 and 215, do that in 2023 and still posing to do that in 2027? What kind of a country are we living in? We must look. I cannot criticize Jonathan for zoning in 211 and 215. And then condone it with Atiku in 2023 and 2027. I cannot do that. No reasonable person should do that.
Well, Atiku is one of the frontmen in the new coalition.
That's what I'm saying. Ordinarily, by now, Atiku should have known that, look, by 2019, I had done my own part. Look, I'm saying this because he can win election. No, I'm not saying like unlike before I said he won't even win. This time I don't know who will win this next election. I don't know, at least not now. I don't know yet. I'm not saying he will not win. But let me tell you something. If a Northerner wins this election that is coming, to this election, no Southerner again, and this one, write it, not today's date down, there is nobody across the southern state that will ever bet of Nigeria till their kingdom come. And probably when that
Why? It sounds very extreme what you're saying. Because we could also have someone from the north do another 4 years, and he's 8 years after that, someone from the south comes around.
No party will risk it anymore because it will have been proven that Northerners can install and remove a president as soon as they decide that they are angry in Kaduna. So no party will risk their ticket anymore. It's like in Benue now. You hardly wish any party that will give their ticket to a non-TV man. Simple. So if you don't have ticket as a Southerner of a major party, how will you go? How you go to president? It would have created an apartheid system, a dichotomy that places a concrete, if not an iron ceiling, on the aspiration of half of our country beyond the VP position. I don't want to live in such a country. It's as simple as that. It's commonsensical. Again, Atiku protested zoning violation so much that they threatened brimstone, they threatened hell, they threatened hellfire on earth. By 2015, Jonathan was also going to contest when they printed one form for him. They left the PDP Kabadaya. Until the PDP repented in 2017 and said, we made a mistake for violating zoning. So we're going to take it back to the north. That was when Atiku and Co returned, and he was handed the ticket by the southern half that kept the party alive for that first phase of loss of power. And in 2023, we predicted that if you go into is the PDP still how far with PDP?
Well, Damagung has said people should stop demarketing the party.
In the next few days, more PDP governors will leave.
Sadly, that's what he's looking at, because the vice chair of the APC.
To the APC. Because look, I'm sorry to say this. And again, I don't know who win the next election, but the repercussion for us as a country. You see, Mandela was president of South Africa from 1994. His deputy was Thabo Mbeki. They were from the same ethnic group. They were Hausa people, both of them. And so this Ramaphosa you see should have been the deputy, the next in line to Mbeki. But Mandela felt that no. Despite the fact that, yes, we knew that during the apartheid era, there was this formation of a splinter group from the ANC, which was called the Inkatha Freedom Party, which was a pro-Zulu party. It was led by Chief Mngosuthu Buthelezi. He died just a few years ago. And a lot of Zulus generally, identity politics now gravitated towards the Inkatha Freedom Party. So somehow the rank and file of ANC seemed to have been dominated by the Hausa party, the Hausa ethnic nationality. But despite that fact, despite the fact that Ramaphosa was amply qualified to have succeeded Thabo Mbeki in the line of succession, Mandela worked to circumscribe that one so that it wouldn't create an impression that he, as a Hausa man, led an ANC party that perpetuated Hausa leadership or rulership of the ANC and by implication South Africa. That's how they brought in Zuma, who was in the ANC or who was never in the IF, but was not in line of succession because he was Zulu. They brought him in to break that jinx.
We'll continue the story after this quick break.
This is not just...
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
I never lose my...
All right, Dr. Majeed, so you were building us to the South African story.
So Mandela brought in a Zulu man in the person of Jacob Zuma to break that jinx. Supported him to even defeat Thabo Mbeki in the election that brought in Zuma as leader of the ANC, which eventually made him the president of the country. That was to ensure the unity among the black people of South Africa. In fact, significantly, Mandela was said to have handed over to Buthelezi, who was then in the parliament and was part of the government, more than 27 times as acting president when I was traveling. He would pick him to act on his behalf as the president of the republic. You know why? To ensure unity among the constituent peoples. A lot of extremist blacks think he was too soft. He was pointing to white people. No, he wasn't. He believed in a rainbow country where no man is marginalized. According to him, I don't want to live in a South Africa that is dominated by white people, neither the one that is dominated by blacks. Simple. Since 1999, anytime a Southerner is in power, there's an attempt for the North to take it back prematurely. But when a Northerner is in power, even when people don't like such a president and they feel they need to challenge him, they usually bring a Southerner, a Northerner to challenge him.
Just take a step back, because people might lose the context at which you're saying this.
In 1999, there was a zoning arrangement to the South. By 2022, Buhari came out from the North to challenge Obasanjo.
But he's well within his right to contest.
I'm saying we need to respect zoning.
Dr. Majeed, if we're going to go with that, respecting zoning is not written anywhere.
Then let us stop it.
Except...
Now, those that will stop it,
except we would say we would need to, at this point in time, legislate on it. If it's not written and legislated on, any man can contest.
We don't need to write it down. Because that's something that's supposed to be permanent. If it is a turn of the North, we have a history. Look, we fought a civil war. There was a reason why this balancing act was put in place. It was not the civil war. Before the civil war and immediately after, from between Shagari, what do you call him, Prime Minister, between the collapse of the First Republic, between Balewa's government and the head of state's position of Nnamdi Azikiwe, which was also a North and South thing, kind of. President was from the South, the head of government and Prime Minister was from the North. When that system actually collapsed, the military didn't quite, in their hurry to unite everybody. The number one and number two position came from anywhere the head of state decided. Until 1975, Murtala became head of state when Ogowan was overthrown, and the Southern Obasanjo was made his next in command. And by 1976, Murtala was killed in an unfortunate coup. And there was this rumor in the North, the Muslim North, championed by the late Sheikh Gumi. By this time, Islamic separatism was already rife in the North, but it was still not taking shape, but it was already there. Salafism had arrived and it was becoming an issue. He now theorized that the Christians of the North connived to kill Murtala, who was a Muslim. It became a big issue. And as if he was right, Murtala died. The next in command to Murtala was a Christian. The next in command to that one that was next in command was a Christian, General Tiwa Danjuma. Meaning, if you were to form a government strictly by a military hierarchy, Tiwa Danjuma would have been second in command to Obasanjo, Christian, which means this man was right and Christians came together to kill the Muslim head of state to allow for Christian domination. What did the military do? Even military that is rigid, that's hierarchical, that's regimental, what did they do? Obasanjo sat down with Tiwa Danjuma and said, we need to sacrifice. Tiwa Danjuma said, I agree, for the interest of Nigeria. Tiwa stepped aside from his legitimate position as Chief of Staff Supreme Headquarters, which is the de facto Vice President. They had to now bring up a Muslim from the North, a junior military officer, the late General Musa Yar'Adua, give him they leapfrogged him, double promotion from Lieutenant Colonel to Brigadier, just occupy the number 2 position in an act of balancing so that Nigeria does not go back to civil war. And by 1979, when the election was coming, OPJ was head of state. People say OPJ hated Awolowo, didn't support Awolowo, was supported Awolowo, and blah, 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 all sort of talk. I said, no, OPJ knew the implication of conducting an election as an outgoing Southern military head of state that will now be won by not just a Southern politician, but one from Yoruba race, not just from Yoruba ethnic group, one from Ogun State like his own state. How would we convince the future generation of Nigeria that Obasanjo did not rig that election for his brother from Ogun State? So, but why OBJ did it? A Northerner emerged because the Southern was leaving power. Shagari had to emerge. And why was Shagari's candidacy supported by the military? You see, people don't know this. Awolowo fielded the vice president from the southeast. Christian ticket, South ticket. In the person of Philip Umeadi. Not nationalistic enough. Well, Azikiwe went north, but he went to a Christian in the north, the late Professor Isha Audu. So the military felt that a Shagari from the north, a Muslim, and an equivalent from the south, a Christian, was more balanced and more in the interest of national unity. So they supported it for it to emerge. And that trajectory kind of continued. Because Buhari came and violated it again in 1983 and 85. But But when Babangida came, he restored it in the military. Bangida's first deputy was Ekomode Bitukiwe from the southeast. When they fell apart, he brought in Augustus Aikomo as military vice president from currently South, Edo State specifically. Abacha of all people came in and brought Oladipo Dia. Abu Salami came in and brought Admiral Okai Akiwe as his deputy. And when Abu Salam was leaving, he returned power to the south after 16 years in the north. So that no matter the troubles we have, this opportunity that gives, both sides, because Nigeria was amalgamated on south and north basis, some level of sense of belonging at the number one office, at least keeps us floating until we decide how to make our lives better. But Nigeria would have been worse if you have the same problem you're having, and it's not dominated by one section. Now, if you look at the history between 1999 and today, in 2007, this president that is there, this Tinubu, hate him, love him, it's your business. But that's one thing you can't take away from him. I criticize him for so many things, but one thing I can say he did all through, he respected and abided by this same zoning throughout his political career. In 2007, he formed the AC as a party. He was the force behind it. Atiku was internally displaced from the PDP then, under Obasanjo's pressure. It was the AC that Tinubu formed with allies that gave him that succor. They gave him their ticket to run. They supported him. Yes, he didn't win, but they did their best for him. When he left them and turned to PDP in 2009, before 2011 election, do you know who the ACN gave the ticket to in 2011? In recognition that 2011 was still the northern turn. You know who they gave to? They gave it to Nuhu Ribadu from the north. It didn't make much impact because Jonathan enjoyed some level of support and all that.
Oh, yes, he did.
But at least, as a show of faith, Tinubu's party, a party who was leading, gave the ticket in 2011 to Nuhu Ribadu, a northerner. But by 2015, Tinubu joined hands with other southerners to say, our southern mother cannot continue. He has to go for the north to have his turn, honorably. And he supported northerners in the party to the primary. I remember when he was confused between Buhari and Atiku who to choose. He went to Obasanjo to consult. When he was accosted by press when he came out of Ota compound of Obasanjo, he said, these two men have served this man. I came to ask him, among these two, where do we go?
Dr. Majeed, I quite understand this zoning
I'm
arrangement
giving this
you're talking
because
about.
the man I'm talking about, the man I'm comparing to be, has enjoyed this privilege, has enjoyed the support from the South at every turn. Let me tell you this in case you don't know. When Yar'Adua died, it was the South that first made the commitment to power retains run in the North. The then chairman of PDP was Vincent Obulafor from Abia State. As soon as Yar'Adua died at the buried him and all that, and he started hearing noise about Jonathan coming to contest. Obulafor made the letter statement that no Southerner should contest, it's turn on the North. That was the Southerner. He paid dearly for it. When they removed him and brought Chief Nwodo, Chief Kwesile Nwodo, former governor of Enugu State, Nwodo was working with Atiku, who was the northern choice, consensus choice, to challenge Jonathan. He was working with him, but he didn't make noise about it. When it was discovered, on the eve of the primary election, they brought one judgment from somewhere, and he was eased out. It was even the northern part of the PDP then that did more solidarity with Jonathan. And the South was watching them to say, is it not your turn? The DGs of all the northern candidates in that election, the campaign spokesperson from the South.
Dr. Majeed, I quite agree with the argument you're putting forward.
I'm saying
but where,
it has been largely up, even the military, even in NBA, even in NGE.
Where I differ,
this principle is sacrosanct.
Where I beg to differ is that we should normalize, not allowing people think that they can do more than
I've not said it should be normalized. I'm saying for those of you that have agreed, among thieves there should be honor. If you have agreed to come together and rape us, be honorable among yourselves. That's what you're saying. So
you're saying today that moving forward, even though we do not have it,
yes,
codify anywhere,
among these people that are in the
every region should have 8 years. It doesn't matter who. That's what you're saying.
When we are ready to jettison zoning, we should also be ready to jettison on that things that put the whole source together.
How about do every region for 4 years? If you underperform, you're out.
I'm saying as long as it is still 8 years opportunity in the question of presidency, if a Southerner is not doing well, pick another Southerner.
All right.
That was why in 2019,
all right,
the PDP came together and picked a Northerner to challenge another Northerner.
Okay.
The North should stop always challenging the South. When it is their turn to be president, it is wrong. We must speak out.
All right.
So in this instance, if you don't like Tinubu, look for another Southerner who is willing to do one term to supplant him. If you are ready to jettison zoning, let us now sit down for that much talked about national conference. Where we decide a lot of things, including resource control. We also decide a lot of things. Maybe we can abandon zoning and then also grant 100% resource control of oil resources to all oil producing states.
All right, Dr.
We have to. It can't be in isolation. I'm saying a group, we have come together to live together. We are making sacrifices. Somebody's oil is being shared across the country from his backyard for all of us to benefit from. And we said, okay, in exchange for this, since we have the numerical number, you will now concede the right to these people to also lead after every 8 years. So if now you have it into 4 years. So if a Southerner is not doing well as president, look for a Southerner. Order this arrangement. But if you want to let it go, you can't just abandon zoning and hold on to that. You hold on to it. There should no longer be monthly allocation of crude oil resources across 36 states and FCT. No, it should stop. If you cannot have your state, you use to develop your state.
Let's tie it to the next story and looking at what the coalition is.
So what I'm saying essentially is Obi has done well. This is the honorable thing to do, and he should stand on this. I like what he said. I am committed to that zoning. He has taken the border high ground. I'm saying even as a Southerner that he is, this is the turn of the South by convention. He said, I'm ready to sacrifice and inconvenience myself. That privilege of second term, in case I'm offered, I won't do it because I want to maintain the sanctity of North and South rotation.
Is Obi with the coalition at the moment?
I don't know yet. We're only discussing his expression.
To the
you should understand why I'm dwelling on this matter. I'm a proponent of abiding by a principle that seems to have some level of fairness and equity, so that one region does not dominate the other. I know what I'm fighting against. It read its ugly hand in the last election, where a region and its people seems to have been socialized, never to vote outside their demography. It's dangerous for a democracy. It happened under Buhari, for instance. When Buhari wasn't doing well, everybody blames Buhari, including those that supported him. We said, okay, let's even change Buhari, but we still put it in your area, but give it to somebody who we think is better. The mere fact that that person has support from the South strengthened Buhari in the North. It's okay. The South wants to take over power through their surrogate from the North. I was in that campaign and I knew what that was the narrative. It strengthened Buhari. If you look at Buhari's campaigns in 2019, it was the crowds in the North were larger than the ones in 2015. In the day he went to play through, it was mad. He couldn't even address the crowd. It was like the South want to take it from us through one of their own. Atiku was branded as not so a northerner this time around. Is that serious? So now that he has done his own 8 years, he has endured him for 8 years. If you don't want a Tinubu after 4 years, if there's one person I want defeated is Tinubu, you know my stand on Tinubu policies. But I will never support the truncating of Southern presidency midway. No, because if it happens, if people are willing to take power when it's not supposed to be their turn, when they take it back, they will hold on to it forever. And your children and my children in future will rise up and say, we want to take it by force. Probably they will not deploy other means than democratic to ask for that opportunity.
In this conversation,
it happened in Sudan.
In this conversation of North-South versus South, because it feels like only some specific regions are...
In the North-South?
Yeah, in the North-South. The Northwest, particularly, has enjoyed that privilege. The North-Central has not even felt much of their impact in all of this.
I can explain that to you. In 2015, when the North wanted power back, it was their turn, and I supported it. The South-South and the Southeast stood by the incumbent president based on, okay, boys, he's the incumbent. After this, it's not really written anyway. Can we allow him finish what he wants to do and then return to status quo? But the Southwest was like 60-40. 60 for power to the North, 40 for power for Jonathan. So in this sense, it became an alliance between a majority of the Southwest and the one majority of the North to produce a Northern presidency. So it's only fair that when the North wants to now reward their allies in the South, within the APC, they looked towards the Southwest. Nobody had a problem with that. The PDP, on the other hand, which has been supported consistently from 1998 by the Southeast, and when the Southeast votes against even their own, when Ojukwu contested election, Obasanjo defeated Ojukwu in the Southeast. When he contested again in 2007, Yar'Adua defeated him in the Southeast. When Yar'Adua died, it was an Igbo man that was chairman of PDP that said the North will retain power. I saw the effort of people like Professor A.B.C. Nwosu, Professor Udenta, Senator Ben Obi, another prominent Southeasterners, who insisted that the power should return in the North. As at 2011, no, not even 2015. We saw it. We saw that effort. Now, in 2019, the Southwest was being punished by the Buhari government for giving. Buhari was said to have crammed in his head the very small figure he got in 2015 from the Southeast. So if I go to tell him that you have marginalized Southeast, he will quote the figure for you. So to make sure that they reiterate the decision of Buhari government and his aspiration, the Southeast doubled down on the position to Buhari and voted massively for Atiku. Massively. I'm asking, the same way the northern part of the APC saw the Southwest as their bastion in the South and supported one of theirs to be president, why is it impossible for Atiku?
All right.
Let me land on this, please. Why is it impossible?
You have said it repeatedly.
No, I need to land on this. Why is it impossible for Atiku, for Sule Lamido, and other PDP members that have enjoyed the support from the Southeast to go to the North and say, let us also go to the Southeast on the basis of our own party? Why is it difficult? Is it a taboo for a Hausa man and a Muslim to vote for an Igbo man? Let us break this table now. Let us know. Is it a taboo? Why should it be a taboo? Why? Why is it so difficult for them to go and say, the same way you saw Erufai, you know, keep telling Erufai, I don't know why Tinubu didn't manage Erufai well. You saw Erufai went to Dot and was saying, it's a thing of honor, integrity to vote for these people who did for us. Why is Atiku and other northern people in the PDP not going to say, Mutani Arewa, these people have supported our sons, Say Shagari, Yaradua, Atiku. Now it is thought of their own region. Since we all belong to this party, can we now repair this constituent region in the South? It should have been a Southeasterner in PDP, the party they belong to, a Southwesterner in APC, the party they belong to. Nigerians will now choose the better of the two. Why is it difficult for Atiku and Co to do what I'm saying now? So it's nobody's fault. It's not even nobody wants Southeast. It is the northern flank of the PDP that has betrayed the Southeast, that has dumped the Southeast, used and dumped the Southeast, and is unwilling to mobilize for the Southeast. The same way the Southeast has mobilized for the North consistently since 1999, and it is painful.
All right. Dr. Majeed has made this categorically clear, and it just feels like I bet if Atiku is listening at this point in time, be like, boy, this man is trying to kill my dream. But nothing is shaking it at this point in time, because they had a meeting, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, David Mark, who has since resigned from the PDP and joined the coalition, he was a former Senate President, Sule Lamido, former Governor of Jigawa State, Uche Secondus, former PDP National Chairman, Babangida Aliyu, former Governor of Niger, Sam Ego, former Governor of Ebonyi State, and Aminu Tambuwa, former Governor of Sokoto State, even Liam Moke, the former Governor of Cross River State, had a meeting during the week, and that was on Tuesday. And after the meeting, the opposition politicians, this group of individuals, adopted ADC as the coalition platform and appointed Mark and Rauf Aregbesola, former Osun governor, as interim national chairman and secretary, respectively. Bolaji Abdullahi, former minister of sport, was appointed as the coalition spokesperson. The ADC national publicity secretary said the party stakeholders are not opposed to a coalition of parties, but they reject a hijack and imposition of their party, and added that the National Executive Committee or National Convention did not ratify recent appointment into the party. They claimed that ADC had become the platform of the National Opposition Coalition Group is misleading. Millions of members have not been informed or carried along in the so-called coalition, and if anyone is attempting to force an opposition merger without grassroots consent, they're trampling on democratic ethics and party sovereignty. So we're having a faction of the ADC come out to say, hold up, who is making our party the melting point of the opposition and the merger at this point in time?
It's a serious. I was telling somebody that before the end of today, I expect a phone call from Dumebi Kachiku to raise this issue. And I just saw a press release from him now saying,
they put one out?
You can't put something on nothing and expect to stand that. Who did that? This didn't they ask questions before they came into the ADC? That is another, because there has been a legal tussle within the party over the structure of leadership following the last election. It's been there. So are you going to blame the president for this one day? Are you going to blame him? You guys came into the PDP, you destroyed it with ambition. You have left it hurriedly while the PDP is still in ICU. You have gone to another platform now, and the crisis is starting there. This should tell you something.
Tell me something about the PDP, about the characters
about
in the
what?
PDP,
about the things you guys are doing, and you're not doing it right. You are not. It should tell you something. So another major crisis is brewing now within the ADC. that is being unveiled. I'm not seeing a statement now from Midweek Achuku. I was just telling somebody this morning that we should get a call from Midweek Achuku for the close of work today, because I know that there's an issue ongoing in that party. They took the former chairman to court over issues of having him overstate, a lot of issues. I know when a matter is in court, you can't tell where it will swing. You cannot tell. So according to the statement he's read from the summary I've just read now, he's trying to say that, look, all of this, as far as he's concerned, they're not members of ADC. That who gave them the platform, who surrendered, who told you are the chairman, who told you are the
Because
secretary.
it feels like they're just coming and they want to take over the party, dictate the party.
So the man is saying, who told you all of this have given yourselves? Because in their hurry, in their anger, in their haste.
Perhaps forming a brand new party altogether should be what the target should be.
You see, I gave you the roadmap here before the last election. I said PDP, feed the Southerner, feed P2B. Why? He's the Buhari of 2023. Now, if you do that, you may not win the election, but you will survive post-Buhari era. That is, the party will have, because you have that cohesion around somebody that is seen as highly ethical, different, and all that and all. You know, the belief is about Buhari too. Obi enjoys that kind of image. It will kind of keep the party in check. And the people, the Holoi Poloi, the masses of these regions where PDP used to be strong, we still have hope that they have a P2B that is like a messiah. That will keep the party afloat, right? And if somehow Nigerians decide to say, okay, let us try this other side. Since we've tried this one for 4 years, we are home and try. PDP failed to do that, and I told you that PDP will die. And you can see. Thank you. Labour Party, which now became what was supposed to be the next opposition. Did I not start picking holes in the activities from before the inauguration?
From the jump.
There's something is wrong with this. There's something that has gone wrong. That by now they should have consolidated and transformed this party using people power that they enjoyed into an ideologically driven, ethical political party. That by now you don't need anybody to form coalition. No? People don't be moving into the APC, into the Labour Party. They don't tell them all that they need to do was as a senator. Let after 3 years we'll come here and analyze that. We heard that senators from Labour Party, they're like Jehovah's Witness and Deeper Life. They abstain from all abstainables. That is the normal business in the house. People start saying, really? Yes. If they go for a committee meeting, they don't wait for the MDS to book their flight and hotel. They will come there, even if it's by night bus, and write minority reports. By now, people would have said, okay, if this is what they do, all of this frustration would have been directed to, is that how political parties grow? Now, their lone governor, for instance, would have heard that all other governors are still blocking local government autonomy. He has done it in line with the constitutional provision since his morning. Now, if you go there, if you look at their SEC, look at the local government autonomy, the administration, look at the House of Assembly, everything is in line, and there is absolutely zero corruption running in the state. To the point that those that are living next door in Imo and Rivers are itching to have this in their state. That's how you oppose by example. But now you don't need any coalition or anything, no. People simply see what you have done and say, okay, if this is the template people are running, please, we need it in our state. It's as simple as that. And for a democracy that is really not working, it's an opportunity for any political party to thrive. It's an opportunity. Now, they fail in that aspect. And we have been pointing it out. Now, the APC is not doing well, but at least they have an incumbent president that can wield the carrot and wield the stick. So everybody's in line. So if you go to court too, is the president, no, you can't be too sure. So they have that advantage at least. So they can keep the house in order. Or even if it's under duress, fine. They can tell a chairman to resign, and he will resign and tell you that he resigned on health ground. And the next time you saw him, he was in an aeroplane flying to Medina to go to attend funeral ceremony of Elijah Amin Dantata. So, and his people, nobody has said anything because they have a president who is also very efficient and strong in party management. So we saw this come. We saw today come and said, the PDP don't make this mistake. They made it. Now, Labour Party too, don't go this way. They went that way. So look at where we are now.
All right, we're at the place where we're still sorting out what the opposition will do.
If we're not having the conversation in the last 2 years, that we will get where we are now. Where you see Tinubu, you don't want to vote Tinubu, you don't have an option or who to vote for. We said it. I told that democracy will not only fail in Nigeria or Africa because incumbents are not doing well, but because opposition failed. I've been emphasizing this. I've been saying this. I saw today coming. They've not even settled down. They are still, I see attendance is still include vice president and blah, blah, blah. And Dumbi Kachiku has just sent out a warning that we don't know you in our party. It's a legal challenge. You don't know who Dumbi is talking to. You don't know who he's working with. And like I said, there was already an existing issue on ground. He's not just inventing it today. But you don't know who he's talking to. You don't know who he's.
I believe like Water, will find their way. I mean, Mark has resigned from PDP. He is coming to this place. And they always will find a way. These are just the initial turbulence you expect when some big wigs are coming into it.
Is an existing party.
It is. But then how much relevance? They had 2 members in the National Assembly.
I'm saying...
It's not one of the strongest parties you mentioned.
There's a regulated party system in Nigeria.
I agree.
INEC knows your chairman and secretary. You look at what happened in PDP. Anyanwu is secretary. They dragged this matter for how many years now until they realize that INEC will not budge and they have recognized Anyanwu. If they go to INEC today and they ask INEC, who's the secretary of ADC? You think they will call a Rebeshola? Which convention brought Rebeshola in? Which convention brought David Markin as chairman? You think their names are there? How? Which next meeting, expanded next, did you hold? So
they just came and just hijacked it.
So I don't know why this man will be asking. I don't know who this boy are talking to. So you can see that the whole coalition they're talking about is practically for the get-go. It's starting on a quicksand, on a legal conundrum already. Through no fault of anybody but their own fault. We won't. Anything I'm saying today is something I have talked about, but they will simply not listen.
All right, Dr. Majeed. We need to run for a quick break. And don't forget, after the break and after the news, we will take as many of your comments as possible. We'll see a lot of them. Israel says the true clock with Dr. Majeed is finally here. Welcome. The discordant tunes in the ADC is not unconnected to the presence of Atiku in the scheme of things. It's made many members uncomfortable. As for the single term, I believe an experienced visionary leader can make an impact in 4 years when he's the popular choice of the people. Peter Obi did not ask members of Obedient Movement to be buying and sharing things for people in 2023 election. People don't need someone to issue order before they do the right thing and thrive in their best capacity.
Have you used their service lately? Ate at a restaurant.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. 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 Nigeria Info.
NG for more details.
This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. 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 This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info.
Abuja, time 10 a.m.
This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info.
This is Hard Facts on 95.1 Nigeria FM.
All right. And let's look at more of the comment as our news anchor just warms up for the news at the top of the hour. Israel, thank you for your comment. Dr. Majeed, I can never stop listening to the well-grounded scholar. Thank you for putting facts on the table for Nigerians to see and know. God bless you. Your student, Kuji, sent that one in. And Oludade Abiodun says, good afternoon, Kim and our guest, Majeed. To me, Obi is only trying to be smart. I don't believe Obi can achieve anything in 4 years. In fact, Obi is the main politician here, and even worse than others, because I don't know how he's going to perform miracle in 4 years. It's easier said than done. It's very easy to make a commitment, but when the jungle matures, they'll be begging to see things differently. On Atiku, I say Gbusa to Dr. Majeed. Atiku should know that people of the South are not fools. It was the same Atiku that promoted rotational presidency so much that when President Jonathan wanted to come back as president, he's now trying to play smart by asking Southerners to jettison zoning for competence. Even in the South, we have competent people too. Let's join Joy for the news at the top of the hour.
Station for talk.
This is not the way. We cannot continue like this.
95.1 Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria.